You're watching Primetime News live on MTV Sports. In more local news, JVP Politburo member, parliamentarian Anura Kumara Dissanayake says that it is the innocent people who are being affected by the government's unnecessary spending. He expressed this view during an interactive meeting in Epawala last evening. The second son of has rugby fever. Are there any people who play rugby in Anuradhapura or in Epawala? A rugby tournament was organised in Kandy. Foreign players were also brought down. According to information that we have received, 15 million rupees each has been paid for a player. I think around 8 players have been brought down. Moreover, Bollywood stars like Vivek Oberoi and Preeti Zinta were also brought down as spectators. Tickets and accommodation were provided to them. They watched the matches for a few hours and went back to the hotel. They were also dropped at the airport and 10 million rupees was given to them. Incidentally, Vivek Oberoi has been brought down to the country by spending 15 million rupees. He has a racing fever. Recently, roads in Colombo were closed after 7 and car races were organised by lighting up the city with electricity. However, the Minister of Power is asking people to switch off lights. The city of Colombo looks like the daytime. You need to think as to whose money is being spent in this manner. Meanwhile, Anura Kumara Dissanayake also expressed his views about a circular that was to be implemented by the Minister of Education. Students who obtained 9 or 10 A's were enrolled to the Anuradhapura Central College, Dharmaraja College Kandy and Malyadeva College in Kurunegala. They have that right. Bandula entered Lumbini Vidyalaya Colombo because he was allowed to enter a national school from another national school. Bandula Gunawardena went to the Hangwala Rajasingha Mahavidyalaya. How did Bandula, who went to Rajasingha Mahavidyalaya, enter Lumbini Mahavidyalaya in Colombo? He was able to do so because there was no such circular earlier. If there was, then Bandula would not have been able to enter Lumbini Mahavidyalaya.
Over in the Olympic arena, London 2012 organisers today unveiled the victory ceremony podium, ceremonial costumes, makeup and flowers to be used in the 805 medal ceremonies during the upcoming Olympic Games.
The design of the Royal Purple podiums and costumes were created by students from London's Royal College of Art. A team of 5 students was responsible for the podium.
Well, the whole identity of the Games is, I think, about bringing people together and energy. So we wanted to create a form that was really dynamic, that would leave a lasting impression of the Games. And we tried to make a form that was interesting from every angle, whether you'd be watching it from home on your television or you're watching it from the stadium.
40 podiums will be used during the victory ceremonies at the various Games venues, with around 4,400 medal-winning athletes set to stand on them to receive the prize. The 5 students had spent the last 8 months working with the London Olympic Games Organising Committee officials on the final version. The ceremonial costumes will be worn by around 100 female volunteer athletes and presenter escorts and 200 male volunteer flower and medal bearers. London 2012 is the first time in Games history where flower and medal bearers will be male. Thomas Cripp, Shreen Hav Christiansen and Zara Gorman were responsible for the 3 different outfits. Meanwhile, day 14 of the Olympic torch relay got underway today and saw 157 torch bearers carrying the flame 93.82 miles from Bolton to Liverpool.
Moving on to news on the state of the economy. Inflation, as measured by the Colombo Consumer Price Index, computed by the Department of Census and Statistics, has increased to 7% in May from 6.1% the previous month on a year-on-year basis.
Inflation, which stood at 3.8% at the beginning of the year, dropped to 2.7% in February. However, inflation has seen a steady increase since March. The Department of Census and Statistics said that price increases in food was a main contributor to the rise in inflation last month. The upward revision of the prices of wheat flour, bread and milk powder and the rise in the prices of vegetables, red onions, Potatoes and fresh fish and seafood, owing to seasonal factors, contributed to the increase in the CCPI. The Department of Census and Statistics added that prices increased in the subcategories of housing, water, electricity, gas, clothing, footwear, miscellaneous goods and services and education. We are aware that there was a war 3 years ago. During the time of the war, it was stated that the country's economy had collapsed due to the war. That is what was stated. Moreover, it was also stated that the cost of living increased due to the war. So what has happened now? People are facing more hardships than during the war. It is very clear that the reason for these issues is not the war. The reason is the wrong economic policies that are being followed. This anti-democratic government has attacked the wallet of the common man at a time when the world crude oil prices have reduced. The price of 400-gram packet of milk powder produced by Milko has been increased 310 rupees from 250 rupees in a secret manner. A kilogram of milk powder has been increased to 750 rupees. Moreover, private companies that import milk food are allowed to increase their prices. Is the government in a position to provide an answer if other companies that import milk powder demand the price of milk powder to be increased?
If someone says that the rupee has depreciated due to natural reasons, it is a lie. How can the rupee, which did not depreciate to such a level during the height of the war, experience such depreciation now? There are economic assassins in several places. Such individuals can depreciate the rupee. Where there is a need to topple the government, various attempts are made to reverse the hard-won peace by using some political pawns. Economic assassins too are being used in this task. Furthermore, non-governmental organizations are also being used. Economic assassins within the government too are being used.
Well, up next, we've got the cartoon of the day, which we selected from amongst today's English newspapers.
Moving away from news on the economy, World Environment Day will be marked on the 5th of this month. Now, this year's theme is Green Economy. Does it include you?
In line with World Environment Day, a cycle parade was held in Colombo today. The cycle parade commenced opposite the Nelumpokuna Mahinda Rajapaksa Theatre. Minister of Environment Anurupriya Darshanayapa, Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa and a number of dignitaries were present at the occasion. The cycle parade concluded opposite Royal College.
Well, the Government of India announced a 2-year extension of the ban on the LTTE yesterday. According to CNN-IBN Live, a notification extending the ban on the LTTE, declaring it as an unlawful organization, has been issued by the Union Home Ministry. The official release said the turbulence in Sri Lanka is being exploited by the pro-LTTE forces in spite of the ban, causing disquiet and threatening the security of Tamil Nadu.
Moving on to more local news, steps have been taken to hand over the 36 Sri Lankans who had sought asylum in Britain and who were deported to Sri Lanka this morning to the National Intelligence Bureau. Now, the group of deportees arrived in the island this morning. The Controller of Immigration and Emigration, Chulananda Pereira, said that the group arrived in the island at around 7:45 this morning on a special flight from Britain. He further noted that steps have been taken to verify the identity of the deportees. The Controller of Immigration and Emigration went on to note that once their identity has been established, the group will be handed over to the National Intelligence Bureau.
Yet another phase of the informative workshop program organised by News First with the intention of developing media literacy among school children was held recently with a new outlook incorporating the latest technology. This workshop was held at the Bastian Silva Mahavidyalaya in Kakirava.
News First has held over 50 such workshops in schools across the island in the recent past. The workshop at Bastian Silva Mahavidyalaya, which is situated in a remote village in Kakirava, incorporated several new features. The News First studio complex in Colombo, being connected to Kakirava via Skype, was one such feature. Students at this remote school were thus provided the opportunity to pose questions on new media through this link in real time to News First in Colombo. The workshop also comprised several practical exercises for the students, and they were given the opportunity to showcase their talents as well. You conducted this workshop with commitment and enthusiasm. I believe that our children gained a lot from this workshop. We thank News First for doing this. Meanwhile, News First together with Eslon presented a water tank to the school. Usually, a media organization never comes to a place like this. Usually, they conduct such activities in urban areas. On behalf of the school, I thank News First. A vehicle which was carrying United National Party parliamentarian Karu Jayasuriya met with an accident in the Miritchavela area in Hambantota this afternoon. Now, a spokesperson for the Hambantota hospital said that MP Karu Jayasuriya and his wife had been admitted to the hospital to obtain treatment. He further said that their condition was not serious.
මම ආවේ මිනිස්සු දෙන්නලා මේ ඔක්කොම ගාලා බෝට්ටි ඇති කරගන්නද එහෙම ඒකට නෙවෙයි ඔබතුමාලත් එක්ක කතා කරලා මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳගෙන යන්න යාවි ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳගෙන යන්න කියන්නේ මෙතන උත්තර දෙන්න පොවියොන්ට මේ දවස් දෙක තුන ඇතුළත හරි මේ පොහොර ටික දීලා ඉවර කරන්න තමයි මම කතා කරලා ඉතින් ඉවරයි ආය කවුරුත් ඒක කතා කරන්න දෙන්න විසඳන්න මෙහෙම පුළුවන් කතා කරලා භාගිත විසඳන්න පුළුවන් මේ ගොයම් පැල වලට ගොයම් වලට මාසයයි මූලික පොර ගහන්න ඕන වපුරනකොට හැබැයි ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳුම ගොයම් පැල නම් බාර ගන්න එක නේ පිළිගන්න.
A group of farmers from the Veeraland Mahabali settlement pointed out to an official of the Malampiti Agrarian Services Centre on Tuesday evening the failure of the solutions he had suggested following a great delay to a problem they had been facing for close upon a month. On Monday, Action TV revealed that although the paddy fields belonging to 234 farming families at this settlement had been cultivated by the latter part of April, they had not received fertilizer under the government's fertilizer subsidy scheme.
දැනට ඉන්න කෘෂි නිෂ්පාදන සහකාරතුමිය මේ කටයුත්ත හරියට නිසියාකාරව කරන්න. ඒක තුල තමයි මේ මිනිස්සු අසරණ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
The Agrarian Services official who arrived at the settlement on Tuesday called the agricultural research officer in question right before the farmers.
ඉතින් මේ සැරේ ප්‍රමාද දෙන්නේ ඔයාලට බාන දරන්න නැති වෙච්ච කම. ඔයාලට බාන දරක් මට පොතනක් හරි දුන්නා නම් මම මේ වෙනකොට ඔයාලට පොර ගෙනල්ලා.
However, when the farmers questioned the agricultural research officer on how this problem, which did not exist in the past, had suddenly cropped up, the officer was unable to respond. Incidentally, on Wednesday, a stock of fertilizer reached the Veeraland settlement under the government's subsidized fertilizer scheme. Accordingly, this fertilizer could have been provided at least by yesterday. This is because the National Fertilizer Week, declared by the Ministry of Wildlife and Agrarian Services amidst much fanfare with the printing of advertisements, concluded yesterday. The stock of fertilizer that reached Veeralanda on Wednesday was distributed only this evening. Therefore, once again, it was shown that the government's subsidized fertilizer scheme needs a more comprehensive mechanism than just the printing of newspaper advertisements.